Imagine living your entire life in darkness. Each day, you wake up to a world you cannot see, a world you can only sense through the sounds, smells, and textures that surround you. For many, this is a reality that shapes every aspect of life, from the simplest daily tasks to the deepest dreams and hopes. Nearly 2,000 years ago, in a small fishing village called Bethsaida, one man's world was about to change forever. Bethsaida sat quietly on the northern shore of the Sea of Galilee, its economy driven by the rhythm of nets cast into the water and the bustle of the fish trade. The village was humble but significant. It was the hometown of several of Jesus' closest followers, including Peter, Andrew, and Philip. Life in Bethsaida was shaped by tradition, faith, and the ever-present challenges of survival in the ancient world. It was here, among familiar faces and well-worn paths, that a blind man lived, separated from the visual beauty and the dangers of his surroundings by an impenetrable veil. In those days, blindness was not just a physical limitation, it was a social and economic hardship. The blind were often relegated to the margins of society, dependent on the charity of others. Many believed that such suffering was a punishment for sin, a sign of God's disfavor. The emotional weight of this stigma was as heavy as the darkness itself. The blind man in Bethsaida had likely faced years of isolation and uncertainty, his life shaped by forces beyond his control. One day, news swept through the village. Jesus of Nazareth was passing through Bethsaida. Stories of his teachings and miracles had reached even the most remote corners of the region. People whispered of the lame walking, the deaf hearing, and the sick being restored to health. Hope flickered in the hearts of those who had long given up on miracles. Friends and neighbors, moved by compassion and faith, brought the blind man to Jesus. They pleaded with him, "Please, touch him, heal him." What happened next was unlike any other miracle recorded in the Gospels. Instead of performing an instantaneous healing, Jesus led the man by the hand, guiding him away from the village crowds. This gesture was deeply personal, an act of kindness that offered privacy and dignity. Perhaps Jesus wanted to shield the man from the gaze of onlookers, to create a sacred space for this intimate encounter. Then, in a move that might seem strange to us today, Jesus spat on the man's eyes. In the ancient world, saliva was sometimes considered to have medicinal properties, and Jesus' actions would have been understood within that cultural context. He placed his hands gently on the man's eyes and asked, "Do you see anything?" The man blinked, and for the first time in his life, light pierced the darkness. Shapes and movements swirled before him, but nothing was clear. "I see people," he said, "but they look like trees walking around." His vision was blurry, the world still unfamiliar and confusing. This partial healing was unique, a gradual unfolding rather than an immediate transformation. Jesus was not finished. Once again, he placed his hands on the man's eyes. This time, when the man opened them, everything came into focus. Colors, faces, the shimmering water of the sea, all revealed in breathtaking clarity. The world, once hidden, was now alive with detail and beauty. Imagine the overwhelming joy, the awe, the tears that must have flowed as the man took in the faces of his friends, the sky above, and the landscape he had only known through touch and sound. This miracle, with its two distinct stages, invites us to reflect on the nature of healing and transformation. Why did Jesus choose to heal the man gradually, rather than all at once? Many scholars believe that this story serves as a metaphor for our own spiritual journeys. Just as the blind man's sight was restored in stages, so too does our understanding of faith, truth, and ourselves often unfold over time. Growth is rarely instantaneous. It is a process marked by moments of clarity and confusion, progress and setbacks. The personal touch of Jesus in this story is also deeply significant. He did not simply issue a command from a distance. He engaged with the man directly, touching him, speaking to him, and guiding him. This demonstrates a profound compassion, a willingness to meet people where they are, to enter into their struggles, and to walk with them through their pain. Bethsaida itself adds another layer of meaning to the story. Despite being the home of several disciples, the town was known for its lack of faith. In fact, Jesus would later criticize Bethsaida for its unbelief, despite the miracles performed there. Yet, in this very place, a powerful miracle occurred. This reminds us that grace and transformation can break through even in the most unlikely places, among the most unlikely people. After his sight was restored, Jesus gave the man a curious instruction. Do not go into the village. Why this command? Perhaps Jesus wanted to protect the man from becoming a spectacle, to give him space to adjust to his new reality. Or perhaps he wished to avoid stirring up sensationalism, keeping the focus on the personal nature of the miracle rather than public acclaim. As we reflect on the miracle at Bethsaida, we are invited to consider our own experiences of growth and change. How often do we long for instant answers, quick fixes, or dramatic transformations? Yet more often than not, the most profound changes in our lives happen gradually, step by step. Whether we are seeking healing, understanding, or faith, the journey is often as important as the destination. This story also challenges us to look for miracles in the everyday, the small steps forward, the moments of clarity after confusion, the unexpected kindness that brings light into our darkness. It reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles, and that compassion and hope can break through even in the most difficult circumstances. So, as we move forward, let us remember the blind man of Bethsaida. Let us be patient with our own journeys, compassionate toward others, and open to the miracles, both great and small, that unfold around us each day. And may we too experience the joy of new sight, new understanding, and new life.